I don't think that Donald Trump would be a good poker player, actually. I mean, he does one thing very, very well. There's lots of different things that go into making up a good poker player. One of them is aggression, right? And what Donald Trump does is he never lets anyone raise him. He will always re-raise, okay? So if you try and do anything against Donald Trump, he will sue you, or he will lie about you, or he will what we say in poker, we say come over the top, right? And he will do that every single time. What makes him a very bad poker player is that he has no ability to contain his feelings. So whatever he thinks he feels, he puts out on Twitter, he says in an interview. There was that great picture in the campaign where he goes, play it cool, Donald, stick to the point.
Be nice and cool, nice and cool. Right, stay on point, Donald, stay on point.
I mean, he's actually saying what people have said to him and what's going through his mind. Whereas in poker, you have to be able, it's overstated, but you have to be able to contain yourself and your feelings to a certain extent. He just can't do it. So in poker, bluffing is quite an important skill. It's much, much, much less important than people think, very importantly. Dead simply, if you bluff all the time, who's going to believe you? Nobody. And that may well be the situation that Donald Trump finds himself in, is that he lies so often, so regularly and so transparently that he's going to find it very difficult in a certain period of time to get anyone to believe anything that he says. Actually, in poker, and certainly in business and life, being honest and getting a reputation for being honest such that people trust you is the only way ultimately to get anything to do what you ask. He is a risk taker, there's no doubt about that, but that risk taking doesn't make you a good poker player. You can be a risk taker and be below what I call the break-even line. You can probably guess what that is. If you're above the break-even line, you're making a profit. If you're below the break-even line, you're making a loss. You know, there's lots of financial analysis of Donald Trump that said if he stuck his inheritance in a S&P 500, you know, in 1978, he'd have more money than he has now. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he's necessarily a good risk taker. Just as the person who wins this poker tournament tonight is not necessarily going to be the best player at the table. Short runs are very deceptive. The whole definition of the long run is it's the period of time over which the luck has evened out. And as interminably long as sometimes an American election can feel, it's still actually quite a short period of time. Don't discount the idea that a very, very, very large number of people who voted for Donald Trump in 8 months, in 2 years' time, will sincerely regret it. And when I say a very large number, I mean, I think you'll almost certainly be looking at a president with, he had it already, but historically low approval ratings of the job that he's doing.